Noble ones, can you hear me? Sound test, sound test. What Nolan didn't do. Look, what is this, you ask? A popcorn bucket, but it can double down as a vomit bucket. I mean, all things considering. Nolan's day again, and it's me. I'm sorry, Nolan. It's me. Question, Kenneth. There's two H's, so let me pronounce it right for once. At least I can get some language correctly, rather than, Kenneth 2366 asks, so, are you done making videos about the Odyssey and Nolan now? To which I answer, nope, not even close. Political review, deep historical analysis, neighbor ones. Nolan once. Goodness gracious, I'm losing my fucking mind. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Do you think I'm done? I'm gonna trash it. I'm gonna drag it through the mud. There are plenty of people on X that kept repeating a mantra. A dogmatic mantra. It's not historically accurate. Really? Dude, there is a Cyclops. So I'm gonna, every single time you cringed when you saw that being spammed and repeated all over again, it's not supposed to be accurate. There is a Cyclops. I'm gonna respond to that. Not only I'm gonna destroy it I give you all of the history that is real in the original epics. You'll know everything. You'll know stuff you've never heard of. I've already done the research. I'm gonna bring Imperial Hittite tablets that confirm what Homer said, all the history, everything. I even found the princess, guys. I found the princess. No, sit down. I found the freaking princess. I found everything. We know where the hill is, the Homeric hill. We know everything. So I'll destroy them. I'm going to ask chat right now. Where is Polyphemus, the Cyclops, and then the steel giants in plate armor with the baby child in plate armor? I can't believe it. Where are they from? What island are they supposed to be on? All the giants and then all that stuff. What? Please, chat, let me know. Come on, at least one of you. In the meantime, I'm going to open the drink. Nolan. Thank you. Moscone bail bonds. It is Sicily indeed. Where am I from? Freaking Sicily. To be specific, that's southeast, near the coastal town of Aci Trezza, by the locals called Atrizza, by the way. Something that no one knows, unless you're from there. So here's the thing. What's funny is that I've got a couple of friends and one relative from that area. And to be fair, they do behave exactly like the Cyclops. And I know a couple of people that kind of look like him too. So I'm not actually sure about how historically inaccurate the freaking Cyclops is. But anyways, apart from that, yes, that's the island. That's my blood. That's my culture. That's my geography. So I'm gonna do all of that, guys. I'm gonna do all of that on the historical analysis. Then we're gonna look at the mythological analysis, and we'll see how accurate it is to the mythos. Because one thing you might have noticed, but please keep watching, keep spamming that refresh button over the next few days, because I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna continue posting reviews. But yeah, so what you'll notice is that the problem with the Cyclops, and I didn't talk about it on my original review because I left it for the mythological one, but they did left out the cunning part, the dialogue. What's your name? My name is no one. And then Poseidon speaks to the wounded Cyclops. Who did this to you? No one. Like that, the whole part is gone. It's not there. Okay? And there is a lot more that is in there or was manipulated out of the Odyssey from a mythological standpoint, and we'll have a few other announcements, and then we see what you guys think, because today's about you. Today's about you, my friends. This is the moment. This is your therapy where you can tell me about it. But here is a few other things. So on my second channel, Metatron's Academy, we'll do a full linguistic analysis, and hopefully, in fact, sorry, before I say that, in Odysseus' own words. Let's go, dude. We're gonna do that, and possibly, if I can, I'll see if I can have guests for that one. It could be good. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to review the reviews. So that's another thing we're going to do. And then I would like to invite some guests. One is going to be Shad. Who do you want me to invite to have a discussion, not a debate, but a conversation about the Odyssey? Let me know now if you have some people in mind, and I will rewatch this section and write it down later. So this is the time to let me know. All right, so Pilgrim Media 7295, thank you for supporting the stream. Sicilian food is the best. Brother, sister, I don't know, I see long hair. Brother, you're right. Yes, rice balls, arancine, phenomenal, phenomenal. And yes, Sicilian food is great. I agree. I do miss my Sicilian food. Hello, Akunin 1876. I really made it harder for me, didn't I? Hey, Metatron, will you review the 1997 version of the Odyssey? I would also suggest Apostolic Majesty channel. His take on Nolan's movie, something. I'll check it out. Thank you. And I have been thinking of, rather than reviewing the old movies, but doing a little bit of a comparison. So taking that one, or also the Troy. And by the way, I gotta say this. I will say this on my mythological analysis, but to the people that complain, and because there have been this whole discussion with Achilles, is like, oh, Achilles, is it Elliot Page? Is it not Elliot Page? And then there are these shots that compare the Achilles we had, so Troy, Brad Pitt, phenomenal, peak physique, and then they show a picture of Elliot Page, and then there are people saying, bro, it's the Odyssey, Achilles from the Iliad. And I'm like, you clowns, did you even watch the movie? Because the Iliad is in this movie as a form of memories, flashbacks, and PTSD. We see the siege. We see the Trojan horse. In fact, I'm going to say it, that was actually something I liked. It was a good idea. Given, it would have been a good idea if it had Greeks in it, so still trash movie, but the idea of adding a little bit of the Iliad as a flashback through the memories, that was a pretty good idea. But the people that are defending Nolan because they're Nolan fanboys, because they need to own the charts, they don't even know there is some Iliad in this. Did they even read the freaking books? Unbelievable. So anyways, 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10, and 10 out of 10, particularly 10 out of 10, are scores given through lies that are politically motivated. You can like the movie, by the way. If you're really not into politics, and I guess you don't care about the Greeks, you can love the movie and think it's amazing. But 9 out of 10 and 10 out of 10 usually means you're politically driven. But here's the thing, though. But hey, remember, we are Greeks from Ithaca, says... Wait. I'm going to show it. Remember, guys, we are Greeks from Ithaca. We are just as Greek as all the ethnically Greeks. Even though we arrived 3 hours ago, we are just as Greeks is the message. So I didn't talk about that as much on my review because I put the politics aside, but tomorrow, guys, we are just as Greeks. Yet in America, it's stolen land, even though you have been here for centuries. Beats me. Beats me, guys. Beats me. Also, please learn it Ithaki in Greek. Thank you. We are Greeks, guys. We are Greeks from Ithaca, specifically. Yeah, that looks like a man from Ithaca if I've ever seen one. You saw the meme comparing Mel Gibson Apocalypto to Nolan's Odyssey, how the... Oh, bro, it's in my video tomorrow. Oh, I'm on my A game for that. If you thought my unbiased review was good, I hope you enjoyed it. Some people did. Some people got butthurt because, I mean, be patient. Of course I'm going to trash the freaking movie. I just wanted to give first space to those people who already got the politics, they know, but maybe they wanted to, how is the movie though? Like, we wanted to know the acting, the pacing, so I gave priority to that. But bro, of course I'm trashing the movie. I've been relentlessly mocking Nolan for the last 2 months. You don't think I'm gonna trash the movie? Of course I'm gonna trash the movie. That's gonna be tomorrow though. He's Italian, so a neighbor. Not only I'm Italian, I'm a neighbor, but I'm also from the most Greek of all the regions of Italy, meaning Sicily. So, yeah, absolutely. You are a brother. Thank you so much, Efharisto. Sas Efharistopoli. I appreciate that. Emily Butler. Oh, yeah, we reacted to her. She did a great job. I think if she's the one. Goodness gracious. Let's see. The Nolan fans, and then there is everyone else. Yeah, of course, the Nolan fans are incredible. It's unbelievable. But yeah, I'm whatever. I don't even care at this point. Like, they can think whatever they want. Let me see, how is chat? So we got people on X. Someone is screaming Shad awesome. Yeah, Shad is always fun. I think it would be fun to have a discussion with Shad here. And and really talk about all the details, the minutiae, the bronze axes, the helmets, pull up the armor and watch us lose our shit to see who's gonna scream the most. And I know, there will be people saying, right, but that's because you're history bros. Yeah, exactly. So who else? Who else? I get it. Maybe you're not bothered by the disgusting armor of the Trojans. Guys, the Trojans, I couldn't believe it. I thought nothing could beat Agamemnon's Batman armor, but I was wrong. I was wrong. The Trojans, holy mother of all the gods of Olympus, in fact, every single deity, goodness gracious. But it's a myth. It's so disgusting. You're right, and I'm gonna make the historical analysis. I'm gonna prove. I've done all the research already, guys. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I found tablets. I found mentions. I found everything. The ruins, Schliemann's ruins from the 1850, 1870s. I've got it all. I found mentions in the Muslim world from Mehmed II saying, hey, let's take this city from the Greeks, meaning historical Troy. He actually did take it. We know exactly what it was. And you know what he said? He said, and I will bring all the receipts on my video, keep watching. But he said, yeah, because the Greeks deserved it for what they have done when they sieged and destroyed the city in ancient times. Bro, everybody knew it. It's history. It's history. I found it all. I found it all. From Hittite and stuff. I found everything. And we're going to do it, guys. Oh, great find. I found everything. I found the princess. I found the princess and the betrayal. The Hittites told us. Which shouldn't surprise you, by the way, because as I will explain on the dedicated video with all the fancy editing, which will take me all night, as always, what I will explain is that, of course, it's going to be the Hittite Empire and their records that are going to tell us about it. Because at that time, Mycenaean period, Bronze Age, who were the powers? Not Rome, right? It's too early for that. The powers were ancient Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, and the Hittites. And the Hittites wrote everything down. And it matches, when you read the archives, it matches Homer to the T. It's insane. But it's just a myth, bro, says the Wakanda pushing clown that is Lupita Spanakopita. So yeah, I'm gonna destroy them. All right. It's not an argument. You're absolutely right, Joe. Of course you hate it's just a myth. So what? Because it isn't just a myth. Even if it was, by the way, just a myth, still it belongs to another culture, so you shouldn't vulture it. But the fact is that it's not even a myth. It's not even a myth. Yeah, the Hittites wrote about Troy. They did. They also wrote about the sons of Priam. They talked about everything. Agamemnon, Menelaus. They tell us everything. It's insane. It is insane. But hey, Congolese lives matter. Is the message of this? Is the message of this movie? Christopher Nolan cooked. He is cooked rather than cooked. All right, let me see. How is Twitch? You see any giants when you lived in Sicily? Giants, I mean, there are some people a little bit, but giants, no. They're extinguished. Sorry. Get Mel Gibson on. I do believe Mel Gibson would be a phenomenal immersive job. I do believe that. Truly. Like, he would do it in ancient Greek with the pitch accent. He'd probably do that. And, then would he get the armor right? He would have to get someone to get the armor right, though, because a lot of the people that do historical stuff, like even The Chosen, the armor is awful. So you got someone to do the armor right, which actually is surprising because in the Odyssey, as I will point out, the axes were fine. So how do you do the axes, the Bronze Age axes, right with the bronze, but not the armor is beyond me. Even trash can sometimes have good things. You're absolutely right, Anonymous, and I think that if you take the good things and pretend they don't exist just because you are righteously mad, you end up doing the same thing that the people that give it 10 out of 10 just to own the charts, and then you're going to give it 0 out of 10 to own the libs. When we are talking about the actual movie, and we're making an honest review, then what's important is that you have to say, yeah, I hate the politics, it's nonsense. What they did to the Greeks is disgusting. But guys, this scene is like the scene when they when they open the gates of Troy, and you see Agamemnonas, in there standing in the ridiculous armor, but he's still standing, and then the waves of Greek soldiers entering as a flooding element, destroying everything. That is amazingly shot. There is talent. In fact, it's wasted talent when you push the politics. But I don't want to be disrespectful to whoever did the shot, whoever chose the camera equipment, the people that put in the work, and it's a good shot. Now, if you remove the nonsense bullshit Batman armor and you put him in the historically correct 42 layered triple metal armor that Agamemnon was wearing, which would have been reddish copper, gilded bronze glittering in the sun, or in that case in the moon, because that's another thing. Moonlight makes bronze glitter, is what we are told in the Iliad. So imagine the light of the moon reflected in the glittering gilded bands of his armor, the reddish copper bands of his armor, and the burnished bronze, because he had all three, as he stands there like a god among men. This is insane, but the shot is amazing, right? So and I'm going to tell you all of that. I'm going to give you everything about it on the historical analysis. So anyways, can we ask AI to remake it, brother? I hate AI in conjunction with history. But at this point, I don't know. Skynet might have done a better job than him. I don't know. Kalimera. Kalimera. We got a good evening in Greek. I appreciate that. It is Batman armor, my friend. It's absolutely Batman. You know what happened? It was actually kind of funny yesterday, as I was in at Friday Night Tights, and at one point after talking about the Odyssey, we were talking about Batman 2, and there was this shot of Batman, and I almost wanted to ask. I didn't, because everyone was speaking, and when I'm a guest, I feel bad trying to speak over people because I'm a guest. It's just not my personality. But I really wanted to say, why is Agamemnon on the screen right now? Because it looked identical, and it was Batman too. It was Batman too. Agamemnon. All right. Nom asks, why can you correct Let's Ask Shogo about Japanese culture, but get angry when the lady of the library does the same with your Mediterranean culture? Because she was wrong? So it's a matter of being right and being wrong. So if I say something about my Mediterranean culture and I am objectively wrong and someone corrects me, I'll admit it. I mean, I have removed videos in the past or edited out sections. So it's not an ethnic thing. It's not that, like, unless you're Sicilian like me, you can't talk about Sicily, or unless you're from the Mediterranean, you're not allowed to speak. No, you are. But if your corrections are wrong, which in the case of the lady of the library, I think I made a pretty strong counter argument, and generally speaking, it wasn't even about data. It was just about the double standards of complaining about white skin but being okay or pretending that the black skin is fine. Well, then don't complain about white skin. It's a lot of it was that, and also this idea that Emily Wilson translation is not injecting politics is ridiculous, because Emily Wilson said that it was a problem. We have the interviews that Odysseus is a white man who objectified his wife. Bro, I mean, at this point, whatever. But it's not that she's not allowed because she's from England. It's just that I wish that they did it correctly. And when I complained about, I don't even remember the video. I made the video about what's his name, Shogo, is from a very long time ago. But Shogo is not an expert on Japanese martial arts, samurai history. He's Japanese, but he didn't study it. So yes, he can get stuff wrong, and that's just how it is. Again, nothing personal against Lady of the Library. I think she was very respectful, and that's very rare, guys, in this space. So I appreciate that. But Gamemnon, that's him. All right, let me see. How's Rumble? Let me see. Greetings, homies. Yep, that's it. Don't you determine what words are censored? Me? I don't think, what's his name? I don't think Rumble censors anything. And when it comes to YouTube, I let it do automatically. You can add prohibited words. I don't think I've ever done that. I don't remember doing that. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I mean, you can choose what words are not allowed in your own stream. It's fine. Uh, yeah, this movie is blasphemy as far as I'm concerned, and I understand 100% the feeling. Totally. Which director would you have chosen to direct The Odyssey? You know, to be fair, I think Mel Gibson would have been a good choice because he's very like into let's keep it, let's do it as authentic as possible. So I think that's a good position. Maybe there is someone else that I can't think of. What do you guys think? I find you because of Nolan. Thank you, Anna XY8HU. Appreciate the support. I appreciate the support. Giants and medieval suits. Bro, I swear, it's ridiculous. The child of the Giants had a medieval plate suit mini version for the child. I wanted to scream. The scream of the Cyclops was really good, though. I have to give them that. That was, whoever did it, that was great. Like the way freaking, the whole theater was like trembling with that scream. That was good. That one was good. It basically also represented the way I scream whenever I see the race swaps and the inaccuracies. So I think that's why I vibed with it. Bring on the lady of the library. I actually wouldn't mind that. I would not mind that. We could have, because I know that that conversation would be respectful. So she could be one of the people that we could talk about this with on a live stream or offline. Because, you know, live streaming can put people off if they're not used to it because they might end up saying something and then they didn't mean it or they didn't word it right. So if we record these interactions offline with some of these people, if they feel more comfortable, then I would promise them I'm not gonna edit you in a way that it's gonna disrespect, or like I'm always gonna steelman your argument. And if after the stream you tell me there is this section I said this but I actually didn't mean it, I'll add it. Like I will add a little caveat to make sure that you're not misrepresented. So if offline is better for some people, I'd be more than happy to do it, record it and then post it as a video. And then if people are instead comfortable with online discussions, I imagine Shad would be, then I'm more than happy to do that. I will never do, I'm gonna clip you out to go viral, but completely misrepresent. It's just not me. I do hope that my videos go viral, but I have a bar, okay? I have a bar of decency. I wouldn't want to misrepresent when you're here if you're here as a guest, I would treat you as a guest and whoever you are, which is why I choose my guests. Like I would never have someone like a Sam Piker as a guest. Not in a million years. I'm not willing to talk to scum like that. But if someone who just has very different ideas from me, but they are decent, they didn't cross the line, then we can have them, and I would promise them not to misrepresent them 100%. And if there is something that like, you know, I said this maybe about their personal life that like I'm not comfortable with it, I'll cut it. Don't have a problem. Yeah, Elliot Page. We should talk about Elliot Page. We should. Oh yeah. You know me. I have no filters. I'll say what I think. Elliot Page was not. Do you guys think it was Achilles, and then they swapped it last minute? What do you guys think? Am I going conspiratorial here, or what do you guys think? Do you think there is? Do you think this could be the case? Because that would be insane. That would be insane. You think Mel Gibson would be perfect? You know, I actually think it would. Could you imagine if we could have Mel Gibson as a guest? Ooh, but I'm no one. You know, I'm just a mid-tier YouTuber. I'm not that kind of guy. But it would be amazing to have like Mel Gibson as a guest and talk about what would you have done, sir, if you were to undertake this enormous. I think that would be phenomenal. I know it's impossible, but that would be phenomenal. If you want someone who will be respectable but disagree with you, you can try the mythology guy. Mythology guy and I actually often agree. I talked to him in the background, and yeah, I think that could be cool to invite him. Totally. Metatron, have you ever heard the game called Warriors Legend of Congo? Oh, sorry, Warriors Legend of Troy. No, Viz, I haven't. Is it good? In the end, Ellen Page is Achilles in the underworld. That's what made me think that it was a. Because, yes, in the original, I can tell you, I do address this in tomorrow's video, but I can tell you this much. Let me put a picture, and then we'll talk about Clytemnestra a little bit, because believe it or not, there is something really funny about Clytemnestra, guys. It's ridiculous, but let me put Elliot Page, Odyssey. Again, I don't know if this is some kind of conspiracy theory. Maybe I'm thinking too deep about it, but the scene at the top here, when it's by the way, that's the very first shot of the Odyssey is Travis Scott. We're doing an ancient Greek. That's the first face you see. The second face you see is Elliot Page, and then the next thing you see is the soldiers from Troy. So that's the very beginning of the movie. Anyways, when you see this, the scene at the top, we get it. That could be Sinan. But the one at the bottom, it's from book 11 of the Odyssey. And Odysseus speaks with the ghost of Achilles. I checked, because I'm like, maybe I'm misremembering. The Aeneid is the one I remember the least. I read all of them, by the way, but the Aeneid is the one I remember the least. We did it in middle school. But I did not remember Sinan being as a ghost speaking. That scene does not exist. So that makes you wonder, because movies are not shot chronologically usually. So imagine if they had chosen to go with Achilles, they had already shot this scene of speaking to the ghost, because it's almost the same. It's almost the same, because in the scene, in the original book, Achilles is dead, and Odysseus is trying to comfort him, telling him, yeah, but, we'll speak about you. You're still a hero. You'll be remembered. And the guy's like, I wish I could live as a peasant, as a farmer, an unknown farmer, but still with breath, rather than a breathless ghost. That's the same thing. He is angry. He tells you lied to me, and Odysseus tells him, mild spoilers, I guess. Odysseus tells him, oh no, it's but it was for a good cause, and then you'll be remembered and whatnot. And then he's like, no, I don't like that. And then the ghosts go for the charge. So is that Achilles? Did they swap it because they were scared of the backlash? Maybe I'm going full conspiracy theory. I don't know, guys. You tell me. But it makes you wonder. Any thoughts on Daniel Mandelson's review? I didn't watch it. Also, who is he? I don't know. Is he a YouTuber or is he a historian? Who is it? Love from Portugal. Thank you, Viz. Yeah, the rap song. Goodness gracious. The end of the movie. I was out of there within 15 seconds, guys. Let me tell you that much. Because if you don't know, once you finish the movie, that's what you get. You get the rap from Travis Scott. So Travis Scott is the first voice you ever hear. So in a way, you could say that even though he's the bard, but the bard is retelling Homer, so he is Homer. At least the voice of Homer goes through Travis Scott, the rapper. Beginning of the movie. And then the end of the movie, all around, you hear him rapping. So, talk to Luke Ranieri. Yeah, we're going to do, hopefully, a collaboration on the second channel for the language aspect. Yeah, it was extremely fitting that she played Sinan the Deceiver. Brother, I actually have a little section about that on tomorrow's video, so I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah, that was funny. You agree, Mel Gibson? Assolutamente, someone says, which means absolutely in Italian. You bet they swapped. I mean, it's possible. Greetings and love from Mauritius Islands. Wow, that's awesome. See, that's the kind of diversity I like. Diversity that fits. Like in my comment section, people come from all over the place. It's a bonus to me. I like that. The diversity I don't like is the one that is forced out of hatred for people in my culture. That's the one I don't like. But people, every time you guys show me the little flag or where you're from, I freaking love it. I freaking love it. I appreciate that I've got people watching, people putting up with my with my nonsense, like from all over the place. I think that's kind of fun. Let me check one thing very quickly. Oh, we're getting very good streams so far. Wow, we've got good numbers today. Good numbers, at least for me. Good numbers for me. Appreciate that. Great to have you here. Thank you for joining the stream. We're going to have a really good time, I promise. In fact, so you know that today we got a lot of things to talk about, my friends. Today we got a lot of things to talk about. 100%. All right. What Greek actors would you cast? Sam Terry 91 on Twitch. I have a dedicated video. Go for best Greek actors, Metatron. I already done it. I know I posted so many videos about the Odyssey. It's kind of difficult to find which one is which. But if you write that, already done it. There are some incredible Greek actors that could have played Odysseus, Athena. By the way, did you guys see the interview with Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson? And then they're talking about, I don't remember if Anne Hathaway is in there, but they are talking about the freaking casting of Athena, saying she's perfect because she's actually a goddess in real life. Blah, 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 blah. And you should have seen the face of Robert Pattinson. Is the guy secretly based? I don't know, because he made a face. He made a face. Hello, Poland. Hey there. I love Polish people. You guys are great sports. You guys are great sports. Thank you for your video. Greetings from the Netherlands. Thank you so much. Appreciate. Wow, the Netherlands. So what's your native language? English? I don't know if you know this, but it's a recurring joke within the language community that no one speaks Dutch in the Netherlands and Holland because everybody speaks English. It's kind of a recurring thing. It's kind of funny. From Ireland, thank you very much. All right, Sam Courtwell, 3341, thank you for supporting the stream. I watched the movie last night, Aussie time zone, for the epic that inspired all epic. It was not an epic. Well, now, of course, this is not the odd guy. Guys, this is it's, I don't know how to tell you. So, it's not the Odyssey. Sometimes you can tell the areas that I liked, apart from some shots, some choirs in the music were nice. But the areas that I liked was when actually Homer's words were still managing. This is the power of Homer. Even when you're manipulating it, twisting it, changing it to an unrecognizable, shapeless mess, still sometimes the words of Homer still manage to shine through. And those were the times when I like, oh yeah, finally. Yeah, that one was Homer, wasn't it? So there is a little bit of it in there that in fact, it's actually kind of funny because some of the messages that they tried to push, they still failed, and I'll go deeper on this. But they wanted to say this thing about you're Greek, whatever ethnicity you are, it doesn't matter. That was one of the messages. And then the other message was Zeus's law, meaning illegals come into your country, you need to accept them because Zeus said so. That's what they tried to push, but they ended up fucking that one up because the reality of the movie message, the message of the movie is, yeah, Zeus's law, but if you're like the suitors and you exploit it and you don't respect us, we kick you out. So believe it or not, they're actually agreeing with my immigration policies. So does freaking Homer. So that was funny. I'll go more into the details. Guys, you gotta watch the video tomorrow. It's gonna be great. Hello from Greece. Hello, Romania. It's so good to have you here. So sorry, by the way, that you had to go through all of this. If you appreciate my content so far and wish to help ensure my ability to continue to tell it how it is, regardless of any possible backlash, please support this channel on Patreon. Any support helps me and my team of academics keep the channel strong and gives us the means to fight back against the political rewriting of history. Stand with us, form the wall, defend the truth. Yes, and there is no massacre. Oh, there is a massacre. All right. Yeah, absolutely. They totally get what they deserve, but not the handmaidens, because in the story also, because the slaves, the girls, they also betray Penelope, and when Daddy comes home, not only he butchers the suitors, but also the lady because they betrayed him. That's gone. That's gone. And then they tell me Emily Wilson wasn't in here. Of course, Emily Wilson was in here. She didn't remove it completely, but she did say, but they were victims. They didn't deserve it. Well, that's not what Homer thought. But hey, it is what it is, guys. They didn't even show. The girls, nothing. No. The guys, yeah, because they're men. That's gross. Toxic masculinity. Can you read Hebrew? Yes, but I'm extremely slow. So when I do read the Bible in Hebrew, I am like with the dictionary right next to me, or I read interlinear, and I'm very, very slow. So like if I'm reading, it depends. So if it's a passage that I've read many times, then I will read Bereshit bara Elohim et ha-shamayim ve'etz ha'aretz ve'ha'aretz hayetar tohu vavohu, etc. So I can read it, but if it's a new passage, I'm so slow it's ridiculous. But hey, slow is fine. Slow is good. Wow, that's meta, reading the Bible in Hebrew. I did take back in the day when I was studying at university. My major was Japanese. My minor was Mandarin, but then they were offering some classes of biblical Hebrew, and I took them even though they weren't part of my, like, I didn't get any credit for them. I just took them because it was interesting. So it's interesting. I love reading the Bible in the original language. It's not necessary for salvation from a Christian perspective, but it is fascinating. So I mean, if you love it, why not? It's an authentic experience. It's an immersive experience. What the Odyssey will never be. And so there's that. Grande Metatron, God bless you for telling the truth always, my friend, which is why I got a little bit of backlash, in fact, on my honest review, because I think some people, most people enjoyed it. It has a massive likes to dislike ratio that you cannot see because YouTube decided that way. But I can tell you that it's enormous. I have like a super high percentage of likes. But there are some people that didn't like my honest review because they just wanted me to trash everything about it. I get it. But that would, like, for instance, someone said unsubscribe, whatever, and then they said Anne Hathaway, you praised Anne Hathaway, meaning she's very left-wing and sometimes she has these like men-hating statements. But does that mean, of course I don't like that, but does that mean that I have to pretend she can't act? Like, if that's what you want me to say, I'm not going to say it because I would be a freaking liar. You know, I could still try, like, we have a separate video where we're going to talk about the political state and the men hating and all that, the toxic masculinity nonsense. Right, but I don't have to lie and pretend that she's not a good actress. She did a really good job at acting. If she didn't do a really good... Here's the thing. What some people wanted me to do was to go watch the movie. In fact, people didn't even want me to do that. There were people saying, I can't believe you gave them money. Bro, how am I going to review it? Nedrotic watched it twice. Do you think Gary supports Hollywood? Still went to watch it twice. I don't know how he did it. I'm not watching it twice. You gotta give me $10,000 if you want me to watch it again. So not gonna happen. But like, I gotta watch it. Otherwise, I'm gonna review it. But here's the thing: in fact, if anything, maybe me reviewing it made it so that many of you are like, okay, you reviewed it. I don't need to go watch it. So I think my ticket created a minus few hundred for them, if you really want to look at it that way. But anyways, there was someone who was like expecting me to go watch the movie and maybe there is a scene I really like. Oh wow, that acting, I really liked it, but I need to lie. So like my feelings are like, I hate this movie because I hate what they did to the Greeks. But man, this scene was good, but I have to then turn on the camera and tell you, awful acting. They don't know what they're doing. I can't do that. Like, you know what I mean? I can't do it. But what I can do is trash the politics on a separate video coming up tomorrow. The plastic surgery on Anne Hathaway? Yeah, I know. I mean, I hate plastic surgery, acting or not. Like, I don't think, I don't even know. Well, like, if there are a few things that I hate, they are plastic surgery, particularly on women. But in general, I hate plastic surgery, I hate septum rings, and I hate too much makeup. These are the three things, and tattoos. These are the things I don't like on women. I said it, okay? So, it is what it is. Particularly the lip filler. Oh my gosh, the freaking lip filler. You and Nedrotic suffered for us. I guess that's the idea. My father-in-law stood up and left. He was with us, me, my wife, and my father-in-law. And he stood up and left after an hour. It's like, I'm bored to death. And he left. Okay, he did that. And he is a normie when it comes to this because he didn't even know. He didn't even know like anything about it. He just thought, oh, Tom Holland. And then Robert Pattinson, he knew the actors. He's like, oh, well, come and watch it with you. I'm like, yeah, no problem. Hot dogs and popcorn. After an hour, it's like, I'm leaving. And I get it. You know, I get it. He just left. He couldn't stand it. He hated it. It was boring. It was dragging, which it is dragging, particularly the first hour. Second hour, it gets better when it comes to the speed of the stuff that happens. But in general, I get it. I understand. Like, after an hour, it's like, I don't want to watch this shit. And I absolutely understand that. You know? It's just one of those things. But yeah. Based father-in-law, yeah, he's based all right. So yeah, it's funny because I mentioned that there was someone in the comments that told me, I don't care about what your wife and your father-in-law think. This is your review. And I'm like, what? Yeah, exactly. It's my review. If I want to talk about my wife, get lost. You know, it's so strange because I get it, we're all different, but I would never go to another YouTuber and try to dictate and leave a message like that. Like, I don't get. Maybe I'm built weird. I just would, if I don't like something and it puts me off, I click out of the freaking video. I'd be like, oh, I preferred it when you did horror video games. You played a video game I don't like. Who cares? Just don't click. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, brother. I haven't got. Maybe as a content creator, I have a different perspective because I can put myself in the shoes of the creator, so I don't do that. I don't know if. What if, in an alternate reality, if I had never become a YouTuber, would I have been someone who be? I don't really see myself doing that though. So strange. You have good manners. Yeah, but in this case, I agree with you. It is a matter of good manners, but it's also a matter of a weird parasocial relationship whereby I don't know, maybe it's egotistical. The whole universe needs to revolve around me. So if you don't make a video about what I like, then it doesn't matter that 100,000 people liked it because it's me. It's not me. Me. I don't want to go philosophical, but I think that it's a problem with today's society. Goodness gracious. Italians are salty, only about Italian cuisine. Anything else, we can joke about anything, but don't mess up with our cuisine. Then we get salty, all right? Main character syndrome. Hey, there we go. Thank you for putting it into words that I failed doing miserably. You did a great job. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is, Nolan. I have been tempted to make a video that is me saying Nolan for 60 minutes straight. I'm tempted, but I would do it as a meme in all different angles, different areas of the house. I would do it. The only thing is that I know that that's gonna have like a 3 seconds average watch time, so it's not gonna work. But if you promise me that you're gonna let it play while you do your chores, I'll do it. Okay? But you gotta promise me that. You're gonna do that because I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm at the computer, I'm gonna turn around and say, Nolan. While I'm eating, I'm gonna be like, Nolan. And then I'll go walk by my fridge and say, Nolan. Take the Greek yogurt. I'll do it for an hour. That's gonna be a lot of editing. You're gonna let it play though. Come on. Ad blocker off. And I'll do it. It's gonna be glorious. Like someone who doesn't know anything, because if you guys watch it, then the algorithm is gonna push it out to the people outside. Imagine someone who doesn't know anything clicks it. They're gonna think I'm like psychotic. They're gonna think this guy is not normal. This guy is fucked up in the head. That would be phenomenal. I would freaking love it. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna do it, guys. I don't know. I might do it. All of those Nolan intro sounds like a horror movie. I know. Thank you so much, by the way, member for 20 months. Goodness gracious. If I was that, like, continuous, enduring with something, like, I started working out, though. You know what finally got, because I've started, I don't know if you're like me, but over the years, I've started going to the gym and then stopping, going to the gym and then stopping. I never had the ability to just keep doing it. I think this is going to change. And you know why? Because I'm not just doing it for the aesthetic reasons. You want to have good arms. You want to have a little bit of pecs. You want to have a little bit of shoulders. Don't skip leg day. Nothing crazy, but like naturally have a little bit of physique. It looks good, right? When you wear your shirt, it's gonna look good. But the reality is that alone was never enough. So I think now is the time, because I'm doing it because of my son. Because I'm thinking I got to do it. Because I need to be healthy. And, lifting for health is enormously important. So you get the aesthetic thing, that's great. But, your heart, everything you're going to be healthier. You're going to eat healthier because you're going to look at the calories and that kind of stuff. And I'm going to do it for my baby so that, I can be with him in a good, healthy condition. I think it's going to happen, guys. 2 years, Metatron's body transformation. It's going to happen. I think it's going to happen, guys. Hello, number ones. Hello, Overlord81. Really good to have you here. Gym video by Metatron next. Yeah, maybe not. I already have too many channels. Movies like this is not a strong suit for Nolan. Yeah, you know what's strange? Because I'm someone I wasn't never obsessed with Nolan, but I did like Inception a lot. Inception is a movie that I periodically rewatch. And one thing that I said, I'm no movie critic, okay? So I'll tell you as a viewer, not as a critic. Although then again, the actual paid movie critics are all a bunch of liars. So whatever skill they learned is pointless because they don't use it. But there are channels that are not corporate movie critics, but they know how to do it. They understand things about movie making that I don't. So my movie reviews, every time I do them, it's more like I'm one of you. I'm like a normal person who watches it as the audience and gives you the opinions. Man, we're got a plane here. Is it? No, they're cutting the grass. So anyways, that's my way to do it. But one thing that I do that I think is good is that I never give 8, 9, or 10 to any movie, even if I like it a lot, unless it's a movie that I'm gonna rewatch periodically. Matrix, I watch it at least twice a year. The 13th Floor, I rewatch it periodically. The Sphere with Dustin Hoffman, or Sphere with Dustin Hoffman, I rewatch it every few months because I miss the experience. So if that's not something that happens when I watch a movie, that even if I like it a lot, 7 is going to be the maximum. 8, it's a requirement. Yeah, it has to be something that I'm willing to rewatch just for the pleasure of it and the enjoyment of looking at all that, sort of rewatching those scenes that you like a lot, the area, that kind of stuff. And so what was I going to say? So Inception is one of those. So Inception for me is an 8, 100%. The other Nolan stuff, I never watched the Batman trilogy. I didn't really watch it, so I don't know. I did watch, what's the other movie he made? What did he make again? Sphere was really fun. Yeah, based on a really good book that I own, by the way. Alien is another one. Yeah, Interstellar. Interstellar was a good watch. Not as good as Inception for me, but probably because I love the premise of Inception. The idea of sleeping and going into these different layers that the deeper you go, the longer time is stretched. I freaking loved that. Which is one of the reasons why Nolan in Inception really gave you the feeling of the passage of time. When people woke up and they are still the same age, because in reality it was like 1 minute, but they lived their entire life until they were 90 years old in the dream state, it feels like the time has passed. But in Nolan's Odyssey, this doesn't happen. In theory, what's his name? Odysseus was stranded on the island for 7 years with the nymph, the immortal sea nymph, but it doesn't feel like that happened. It's strange. And I wonder why, because Nolan, if anyone, that would have been the one skill I would have expected, because Nolan has that ability, at least in the other movie, but in this one, maybe it was because, I don't know, it was too long, they had to cut it. I wonder why. Hey Sagunto YouTube, thank you for supporting the video, the channel. Remember Mel Gibson being trashed, talked by leftists, cause Braveheart and Apocalypto weren't historically accurate, even though in Apocalypto he strictly chose indigenous Mexican actors to play the Mayans. Again, there are a lot of people who just can't be honest, intellectually honest about what they say. When it comes to Braveheart, I attacked the movie for the historical inaccuracies, because it is full of historical inaccuracies. Because personally, if a movie is historically inaccurate, I don't care about the politics behind it, or whoever is doing it. I am someone who loves historical accuracy, and I've always been coherent when it comes to that. So I don't have anything against people. With the Apocalypto, it's kind of strange, but maybe it's because I didn't see these critiques, but if they come from the left, what I would expect is probably because there is no noble savage, because usually that's what left-wing academics try to push, and this is a fact. I'm not trying to do, you're doing the culture war again. No, this is a fact. The noble savage is a concept that academia is pushing everywhere they can. So maybe in that case it wasn't enough, because you have to represent the Europeans as the evil colonizers, and if it's done enough. But anyways, I do think that the man did a good job with Apocalypto for what I've seen, and Braveheart was a great movie to watch, but the armor was, a lot of stuff was ridiculous. I mean, Braveheart himself was, what's his name, William Wallace, was really tall, so even that, the guy was huge. I think it stinks. It stinks that a guy like Nolan makes a movie based on the Odyssey, and I get put off by the trailers and everything surrounding the movie, and then I said boring. Yeah, I get it. It does suck. I do think that this movie could have had the potential to be fantastic had they not chosen. They should have gone with Fagel's translation of the Odyssey. They should have removed all of the different messaging of you need to accept immigration, women, power to women, and men suck, which is the three things you get subtly. It's not too much in your face, but these three messages are absolutely in the movie. They should have avoided all the race swapping DI, and they should have cast Greeks. Plus a few famous names. I'm not saying don't put any famous names. If they had done that, I think this movie could have been, and then the armor, just get the armor right, then this movie would have been phenomenal. And before you say, but it's not supposed to be historically accurate with the armor and weapons, right, but they did do the weapons right. And even by that, I understand that we history bros are really obnoxious, annoying, condescending. Get over it, bro. Touch grass. I understand that. We really want all of the armor and stuff correct. And you might be like, I'm not a history bro, so I don't care. Fine. But even you have a line. Okay, it's just that my bar is higher than yours, but you have a bar. Because if you go to the cinema, you're paying a ticket to watch a movie set in ancient Rome, and then when you sit down, what do you expect? You expect Romans. Now, I expect the Lorica segmentata armor to be in the appropriate, correct historical thing, and I want the copper alloy to be okay. So I'm a little exaggerated, but you are expecting to see Romans. So if you're sitting down to watch a movie about ancient Rome and they are dressed like Napoleonic soldiers, you would complain about it. You'd be like, what is this? So the reality is, the real question is, a certain degree of passable historical accuracy is expected by everyone. The only difference is how high or low you put the bar, but the bar exists. We all expect something. You don't expect a movie like this to have people in blue jeans. So at this point, if it's not a documentary, okay, then slap a pair of blue jeans on them. But you wouldn't like that. So you also care about at least a certain degree of historical accuracy for the period. That's how it is. A verisimilitude, exactly. And so the reality is, history bros, we bitch a little more about it, but it's on the same vein. We are all on the same page when it comes to this. They should at least make the main characters Greek. That's what I believe too. Yeah. Also because think about it. Helen of Congo, there she is, Helen of Troy. How much screen time did she have? 5 minutes. 5 minutes and 20 seconds, I think it was. Which is kind of hilarious because she complained about Homer not giving enough screen time to women, yet Homer gave more screen time to Helen than Nolan did to her, which is phenomenal as a thing. But anyways, apart from that insanity, because it's only 5 minutes, you can absolutely put a Greek actress who looks the part perfectly, but maybe she's not a AAA actress. Fine, it's only 5 minutes and 3 lines, so I mean, could have done that. Totally. Out of a 3 hours movie, right? Because IMAX, 3 hours is the maximum they can do. So this is not going to be a 5 hours movie because it technically cannot be due to the choice of the 70mm IMAX. I'm told. I'm not a guy about these kind of stuff, but I was told. I'm going to believe what I've been told. So, I mean, right? They could have totally done it. They didn't need, but we know that was not the message. And so it is what it is. But the twin sister thing, guys, with Clytemnestra, that is one thing that really amazed me. That really amazed me because if you think about it, they didn't cast Helen of Troy. They cast disfigured Helen of Troy. And I'm not trying, you're like, are you saying that she's disfigured because she has black... No! She has, half her face is cut. She's disfigured in this movie. So, effectively, Clytemnestra is the most beautiful woman in the world because it's her twin sister minus the disfigurement. So it's not even a thing. It's an identical twin. For all those on Twitter that told me, how do you know it's gonna be an identical twin? And I'm like, you have the critical thinking skills of a soured yogurt. Like the Greek yogurt in my fridge that soured when I said Nolan right next to the freaking fridge. Because if it's played by the same, I know that not all twins are identical twins, Muppet. But if it's the same actress, you know who's gonna look identical to Lupita Nyong'o? Lupita Nyong'o, right? So yes, it's a twin sister, which, by the way, she says it's one of her lines. My twin sister, Clytemnestra. She actually says it. For all you Muppets, you literally drove me insane. But how do you know it's a twin idea? You don't even know they're not all twins. She said it. She said it. But this also means that the most beautiful woman in the world is not the one that caused the war. Thank you very much. Why not use a Greek supermodel for Helen? Because Greeks are white. You heard it here first. Thank you, Zeromido1218, for being a member for 25 months. Holy mother of... Does Zendaya even make a pleasant face for once, or is she still all frowny? She cries, so I guess it's not just a sad, emotionless face. She does cry at one point. Is she ever smiling? I actually don't remember. She also doesn't get much screen time, by the way. But I don't think she ever smiles, to be honest. Can she smile? I'm not sure. Ooh, could you imagine if they cast, instead of her husband Tom Holland as Telemachus, could you imagine if they cast, what's his name, Sad Boy from Dune and The King? I can't remember his name. I'm not good with VIPs, guys. Could you imagine? It would have been double sad. Ooh, that would have been... Oh, I'm so glad that didn't happen. Goodness gracious, I would have needed like something to counterbalance the pressure if they went that direction. At least Tom Holland. Timothy Chalamet, whatever you read it. Ooh, Timothy, that would have been... Gosh, you would have needed antidepressant after that. Could you imagine? Sad boy? Yeah, he's sad boy. He's sad in every... It's always like, my father, this is what I wanted to do. Like, it doesn't matter what role, that's how he acts. He does a really good job with the sad boy, by the way. So, I mean, it would have probably been, Odysseus, my father, my daddy. It would have been like that the entire movie. Holy moly, we dodged a bullet with that one. Ooh. My gosh, stunning and brave, all right? The battle in the movie isn't on any kind of bridge. I was referring... Oh, I don't know what you guys were talking about here on Twitch. At this point, I just want to see armor in movie actually protect someone from an attack. Brother, I've been bitching about that for 12 years. 12 like the apostles. 12 like the zodiac signs. 12. One of my earliest videos on this channel was armor is not better. I think it was. And yeah, unbelievable. Armor is useless in the movies, and including in this film, by the way, because there is a scene in the temple. Again, remember, spoiler. There is a scene in the temple where Telemachus gets ambushed. And if I remember, was it the one in the temple? No, sorry, not that one. There is later on when Odysseus comes home and Telemachus is fighting the suitors. He gets stabbed with a little dagger through the breastplate, and it's like it's useless. If you can stab through it that easily, why are you even wearing the thing? But that's a thing with Hollywood. It's always... Remember, guys, in fact, if you want me to give you a correct review of the combat in this movie, it's this. Just like every Hollywood movie. Sword and go. Ting, ting. Oh, try to get your leg. You lower your defense. I do a little pirouette, and oh, look. Without this, though, yeah, good luck with that. Like this, and then the blade is on the neck. I got you, and that's it. Or stab through armor. This is just how it is. Now, given when it's a giant stabbing through armor, it's fine. I'm okay with a giant stabbing through armor. That's fine. Still, It's comedy. Ding, ding. Oh, not to mention, actually, I forgot to say this on my review, so I will say it on the historical one. But, bro, we got Greeks doing the reverse grip with their swords a couple of times. Did you hear that? So you have, excuse me, YouTube, this is a pen. YouTube, don't demonetize me for once in your life. So this is a pen, but let's pretend it's a dagger or a sword. And this is the hilt, this is the blade, cross guard, whatever. So this is regular. This is counter, right? It makes you look like, wow, I'm a special or black ops. I'm a ninja. They do this with Mycenaean swords. Ice pick grip is what it's called. Oh, look, can you imagine? Oh my gosh. Not to mention, every time they have a shield in these movies, they never use it. The only time the shields are used is to bash people in the face. Now, given, I'm not saying that historically, for instance, the Roman didn't find it interestingly or tactically advantageous occasionally to take the bronze rim or copper alloy rims of their shields, smash them in the face of those freaking barbarians and crack their teeth open. Possibly. Very much so. Absolutely. At the end of the day, it is an implement of combat, and if you take it and smash it onto someone's face, it will cause damage. In fact, you could take my Fanta and smash it on someone's face, and it would cause a certain degree of damage. So I don't have a problem with shields being used actively that way. And in some historical manuscripts, like the Fiore dei Liberi and all kind of stuff in Italy, shields are used actively that way. Great, fantastic. But maybe for once, use it to block. To parry, dare I say. I mean, Dark Souls got it right. Dark Souls got it right. You can parry with a shield actively. You can block with a but no, in Hollywood, it's always, you're using the shield, you use it as a counterbalance. You move it back as you do the little thing with the sword, and the shield is over here for whatever the heck reason. I guess it's a weight. It's a counterweight. The shield is a counterweight. And that happens in this movie as well. Okay? So, it is what it is. It is what it is, my friends. Hello from Athens, Greece. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching it so I won't myself. Absolutely, my friend. As I told you, see what I mean? To every single one of you who told me, but you gave money to the enemy. No, I removed my ticket, whatever the price was. I don't know. My wife bought it for me. My ticket created minus 1,000 for people like this great Greek man, thank you, Afaristo, who is like, well, he watched it, I watched the review, I'm not gonna give him the money, thank you. That's what I did. The Fanta, fantastic, literally fantastic. You know, actually kind of funny that shields, I'm gonna tell you this thing, if you're Christian, you're gonna like this. You know the passages in the Bible that talk about the armor of God? And it tells you the breastplate is righteousness, the helmet is this, the sword of the Spirit. It's every and by the way, when Paul is talking about armor, this is Paul, most likely what he had in mind was Roman armor at that point, because remember, it's a Roman province, the area. So it's very, and he was a Roman citizen. So I think a good example of, because when we imagine the armor of God in the scriptures, usually it's represented as medieval armor, but that wouldn't be the case. Imagine the Roman armor of a legionary. With that being said, when he says all of the different things, the helmet is this, okay, what is the shield? I think it's interesting as someone who has used these kind of implements of ancient war, because the shield is faith. And to me, that's important because the shield is the only element within the panoply of an ancient warrior that requires your will, or it will not protect. So the armor, the breastplate of righteousness, it will protect you no matter what, but the shield, you need to operate it, or it will not protect you. And to me, there is a message there. Maybe it's just in my mind. Okay, I'm not saying, oh, this is doctrine. No. It's just it's though I think he knows that. Paul would have known that, because to them, these things were every day. Every day, just like for you, seeing a police officer or seeing a member of the military, there are some things that you get. You know how certain things are used. And to me, it means that it kind of connects to the idea of faith is great, but it needs to be based on a true principle, because if you have faith on something that is false, it's not going to do anything to you. There is a lot that we could go into the depth of the point of view of the person who's writing. I'm going to leave it at that. Just something to think about, just food for thought. Marathon, you definitely misused my potential ticket. I don't know what that means. Gird your loins with truth. Yeah. Boss was an ID I used. Really? Nolan. Nolan. I agree with Luke Ranieri. The Odyssey should be adopted into an anime. I saw that he made a video about that. I started watching it and then I was tired, so I switched it off. I played a little bit of GTA 5 and I went to sleep. I have to watch it still. Mount Shasta, blessings, Metatron, flowers of life. Thank you so much, Tartarian Gnosis 108. I really appreciate your support. Welcome, long-haired bro, with a lot of American flags on Rumble by Deconstruct. Thank you so much, my friend. You know, I need to order an American flag. One thing I'm gonna do, because as you know, I passed my US citizenship test. So one thing I'm going to do is after the ceremony, because in some states in the US, once you pass the test, they do the ceremony right away. But there are some states, and it's dependent on the population and availability of personnel, that they make you wait a little bit, maybe a month. So I'm waiting for the letter so that they tell me, come to this location on this day to do the ceremony. And that's when I become officially a US citizen. But when that happens, I'm buying a US flag, and it's going to be somewhere here in my videos to represent that. So that's going to happen. That's going to happen. If you see a flag, you're right, okay, the ceremony happened. I'm not going to say when it's going to be, even if I know, because these days you have to be private on everything, which is one of the reasons why I will never do a meet and greet. I wish, but we don't live in that reality. So I will never be at any event that is public. It's too weird these days, and you have to think of the people that depend on you, right? Even if it's a small percentage of risk, I would say don't risk it. But I will share some things with you. Anything that I can share that is safe to share, I will share it, because it's the least that I owe you. I mean, we've been doing this together for 12 years. Guys, that's a very long time. Nolan is just trying to get Oscar, movie made out of obligation, not passion. Yeah, and I don't think it's just the Oscar. It's also that the Hollywood is a propaganda machine in combination with high academia and kindergarten and elementary school teachers. It is all a coordinated attack, and so he played his part. He did his role, and he was okay dragging the Greeks through the mud to do that. He was fine. He didn't care. No. Which is why I'm going to relentlessly mock him until the end of days. I'll never stop. I will pepper in. I will put videos. Like right now is Nolan week. So of course a lot of the videos, my last like 8, 9, 10 uploads were all about Nolan. And that's normal. The strategy, right? You got to do it. Because it's Nolan week. So I will continue to keep posting Nolan videos. But then as the situation dies out a little bit with the algorithm, I will still occasionally mock him. I'll never stop, Nolan. I'll be your nemesis. But I will also start putting in other videos, of course. This is not going to be like a Nolan channel. Don't tempt me. I might open another chat. Just don't. Don't even say. Don't even joke about it, because you know me. Even if Nolan did this for diversity, it still becomes pretty much pointless, don't you think? It's not like this movie is something revolutionary. Yeah, and at the end of the day, I think we should stop calling it diversity and inclusion. It is exclusion of white people. That's all it is. That's what diversity is. And that's the reality of it. It's just how it's about excluding those we perceive to be the oppressor through the Marxist lenses. This is what inclusivity is. This is what DI is. And that's why we oppose it. It's not about equality of treatment at all. It just isn't. Exclusion of cultures, yeah, and culture vulturing. If it really was, and we always say this, but if it really was about representation, inclusivity, and diversity, then they would have just taken a, Nolan would have had the courage to say, I have the money, I have the power, I already have everything I want in life, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to take an African myth, an African story, and if you really want to, or a Southeast Asian story from Vietnam, for crying out loud, and I will tell these stories with people from that area, and so I will give them the great screen. No, they didn't. They didn't, because they don't care about that, and that's the reality of it. Wouldn't you like the other day, I had these we because we were very busy, my wife and I, the baby, and so we had these like professional cleaners from a company come here and just clean, because it's a big house. We live in a big house, and I thank the Lord for that every day, and this is a great blessing. And it's a big house, and it needs help, and so I can't do it because I'm here screaming nan nan, and my wife is watching the baby. So we had these cleaners. One of the people cleaning, she was Native American, American Indian. In fact, I asked her when she told me that, because she asked me, "Where are you from?" She heard the accent. And I said, "Oh, I'm from Italy. I'm from Sicily." She was like, "Oh, that's so cool." So, of course, what am I going to do? I'm going to reciprocate the question. I'm going to be like, "Where are you from?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm Native American." She told me the tribe. We had a fantastic time. Like, we talked the whole time. It was great. I asked her, I said, "Do you prefer Native American or American Indian?" Because I've heard people tell me that one is racist, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to ask you. And I want to do, and she's like, "Oh, both, they're fine." And so great. That was the end of it. She didn't have a problem with either. Fantastic. And so I think the people that say, "Oh, no, you have to say this and that," really? Anyways, we talked, and it was great. It was really fun. Can you imagine if a big shot Hollywood, uh, whatever, director actually told us the story of some of these tribes? Do you know the story and the culture of, unless you like, and she was literally brought up in a reservation, but could you imagine if like a lot of their stories, their myths, their ideas, their tribal stuff was actually brought to the big screen? And do you think I'm gonna want to see white people casting in roles, swapping? Obviously not. So this is what they do, though. And this is one of the main arguments that I had with Lady of the Library. If you remember, she was saying, but maybe the only way black people are going to enjoy the movie is if they see themselves. So you have to remove the white people and put black people. So then they're going to appreciate the classics. And I'm like, that is so insane. And she's such an intelligent woman. So I'm like, how do you not see that if you did this in reverse? Oh, yeah, a movie about Native Americans, but I want to see whites. Otherwise, I'm not watching it. Or like, hey, a movie about Sudan and the Kingdom of Kosh and what they, because they're called Ethiopia. There is an area like the Ethiopians, but it's more like modern day Sudan rather than modern day Ethiopia. There is maybe a little bit of overlap. Whatever, Kingdom of Kush, but I gotta see whites. Otherwise, I'm not watching it. Like, how are you okay pandering to people to think that way, anyways? So I think that would be fantastic. I had a phenomenal conversation with this lady. It was great. She respected me. I respected her. There was no competition. There was no competition. She was like, "Oh, Italy's amazing," and she was asking me what do you do, and I said, "Content creator." One of the things I do a lot of things, more of a variety channels, but one of the things I did a lot was ancient Rome. She was like, "Oh yeah, ancient Roman history is great." Isn't that nice? To not have to be like, "Oh, oppressors, colonizers." It is what it is, guys. I'm Cree Indian. There you go. Good to have you here, brother. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Okay, people, let's predict how they're gonna ruin the epic of Beowulf if they make one. Oh gosh. Well, you already know it. Did you see what the academics and universities in the UK said about the Norse? If you're a new viewer, I have two videos dedicated. They said, open quotes, I'm not misquoting, open quotes, the Norse were not white and they were Muslim. Close quotes. So that's what they're gonna do. Because academia is doing it. I debunked it. Oh, I debunked it, all right. So no, they're not gonna do Beowulf is an African. They're gonna do Beowulf is Muhammad. That's what they're gonna do. Categorical. 100%. Yeah, I know. Look for that. I'll show you. I'll show so you can watch it. Okay? Afterwards, you can watch it. I'll show you. Metatron. Vikings, I guess, or Norse. I don't know what I used. Vikings were Muslim. There it is, guys. So, this is my video. I show, okay, it's this one here. And Vikings were Muslims and not white, say UK professors. I show all of it. And then I made a follow-up video, this one, Annihilating the Lie, proof Vikings were not Muslims, enough is enough. Isn't it unbelievable that I have to say that? So please watch those videos. I'm going to give you the link. I'm going to give you the freaking link, guys, because you see, nature went. Here's the link. Here's the link. Have fun. Have fun, guys. Have fun. For later, bring popcorn. Bring popcorn, but that's what's going on in the UK, while at the same time they're saying that Anglo-Saxons, you can't say Anglo-Saxon period anymore. They removed it as a word for those type of Iron Age history classes. You can't say Anglo-Saxon anymore. Because I have another video on that. I've got videos and everything, my friend. The Christopher Nolan, my movie was great. Don't get hung up on these details, come on. Impersonator in chat. Could you imagine if I could have Nolan as a guest? He would never do it. But bro, could you imagine? I would make the guy smack his head against the wall for how many times I'm gonna be like. You were great on FNT, Metatron. Thank you so much. I think I need to learn. I don't do very well with large panels, so sometimes I'm not very good at like speaking over the other people's because I feel impolite. I feel rude, so I don't do that. But I guess that means that I don't speak as much. So apologize for that. I guess I'll learn one day. Yeah. Drinking game, take a shot every time Metatron says Nolan. Ooh, I don't know. Are you sure you want to do that? Bro, you're going to get wasted. Please don't drive afterwards. Yeah, really, one of the reasons I focus on total independence is so that I don't have to fight pressure to partake in crap I hate. I have moral issues with. I understand that. Totally. Totally. I mean, to be fair, William Shakespeare was a black woman. You know what's funny is that they are arguing that. There are people, not academia yet, but they are arguing that. I think I do have an unreleased video about it. I actually forgot it. I might release it in the next few days. Because before my son was born, I did a lot of pre-filming. And I used most of those videos that I pre-filmed in the first week particularly, but the first 10 days, a lot of the videos were pre-filmed that I posted, so that we could sleep and that kind of stuff. And I think I forgot to post that one. I know I made one where they were saying that he was Jewish and black, but I didn't post the one where they said William Shakespeare was a black woman, actually. So I'll have to see. It's somewhere in my archives. Yeah. Zeus was an Ethiopian god, just joking. But they're not joking. The Afrocentrists are absolutely saying that. King's monologue consistently says that the Greek gods have black skin. He consistently says that they were Africans. Yep. The baby's crying. Why is the baby crying? Let me send a message to my wife to make sure baby's okay. Why is baby crying? Why is baby crying? Baby's getting changed. Is baby okay? Oh, poor baby. Can you hear? I don't know if you can hear him. Poor baby. With blue eyes. Well, believe it or not, there are some black Africans that are born with blue eyes. It's extremely rare, but it does happen. It's not like impossible. It's a lot more rare, than with white people, and it's in general as a genetic thing. It is very rare. Right now, our baby has blue eyes, but all babies, I think, have blue eyes. Right now, his eyes are very blue. I do hope they stay that way. My wife has green eyes, but her parents have blue eyes, so and grandparents, so it's not impossible. But on my side, we all have dark eyes. So it is the dominant trait. So there is a higher percentage that his eyes will turn like mine. I do hope he keeps the blue eyes though, because I think that would be amazing to have like black hair, and blue eyes. I think it's a really nice combination. You have blue eyes? I love that. Yeah. Green eye wife, best wife. Brother, I lucked out with my wife. She is gorgeous. 100%. Um, she's a barbarian, by the way. Irish and German, the descent. 100% barbarian. I conquered. I'm a Mediterranean Roman with some Greek in it who conquered a barbarian. How about that? Your son would be like, oh, Paolo Maldini, man, the famous historical defender of AC Milan, or like we say in Italy, AC Milan. But I haven't heard. Paolo Maldini used to be my favorite, but we're talking 90s here, but he used to be my favorite player because I used to be a supporter of Milan. Now I don't really watch Italian club football, but I used to be a Milanista. And you'll be like, but you're from Palermo. I get it, but I was born in the 80s, early 80s, in fact. I'm 44. What this means is that Palermo, my city, was Series B, Serie B. And everyone in my class supported teams on Series A. So you had people who supported Juventus, which would be based on the city of Turin, right? And then people supported Inter, people supported Milan. They're both from Milan. And then, yeah, there would some people supported who? Those are the three really that were mostly popular in my school with Sicilians. Usually, there were some people that supported Napoli, and then my cousin supported Rome, but that's only because, and still does, but it's only because his father is from Rome. So I think that's what influenced him. But in general, Sicilians would choose among the popular Serie A teams. I can't believe we're talking about Italian football or soccer. But yeah, I was a Milan guy, so I really liked Paolo Maldini. Napoli has become very good recently, true, I guess. Fiorentina, I never met anyone supporting Fiorentina in Sicily, to be honest. Every person I've met supporting Fiorentina is from Tuscany. I love the color though, the kind of purple. I always liked the color. So sometimes when we played the old school Sega Genesis or Mega Drive games, Super Nintendo, and you could choose the Italian club teams, I would occasionally play Fiorentina because I liked the color. Italians and Greeks were always considered white, says Inquisitor Magnus. That depends, because early in American history, no, we weren't. They considered us non-white, and that changed. But if you mean since ancient times, then if you broaden the definition of white, then it is true that both the Greeks and the Romans referred to themselves with terms in their language that do translate as white. Obviously, it's not the same meaning of white that we use today, but they did differentiate between the Ethiopians, meaning burnt face, meaning black people, the Mediterranean stock, which they do describe as being white. And like, I had a discussion with Dr. Miano about this, and at the end, he said I was right. So if even someone who is clearly left leaning in academia and has to say, yeah, you're right, I am right, I know I'm right, they do use the term white, both the Romans and the Greeks. This is going to make a horrible day for the people that hate that, but it's the truth. And then they describe Nordics as the blondes. So Celtic, Germanic populations, the Caledoni, the Scots, and all that, they are considered blondes. So they're considered a different race. But yeah, they do use white specifically for Mediterraneans. So Greeks and Romans are considered white. But again, it's a different usage of white, if I'm going to be intellectually honest. The way I use white as a European is anyone who is from Europe and has white skin with different degrees. So to me, an Englishman is white, a German is white, a Scandinavian is white, an Irishman is white, a Spanish is white, an Italian is white, a Greek is white, a Frenchman is white, a Portuguese is white. To me, all of this is white. And in fact, Eastern Europeans, you got blondes with very white skin. To me, they're white. So to me, if you're European and you have a skin tone with different degrees that looks light, you're white. Now, I know that there are some Americans that are still kind of connected to the usage by Benjamin Franklin, whereby Eastern Europeans wouldn't be considered white. I guess Irish were not considered white. Italians have become white in the minds of people now in America, but not for everyone, because I do get comments sometimes, people telling me, you're not even white, you're Italian. And I'm like, that's stupid, because Italian is nationality anyways. But whatever. To each his own. Use it however you want. For me, white is synonymous to native European. To me, that's a white person. And you can agree with that, disagree with that, it doesn't matter. But the term white, we used first. We meaning the Greeks and the Romans, if we're going to be technical about it. And being technical is actually interesting, because sometimes on my videos, I use the word Italia, which obviously means Italy. You don't need to speak Italian, but it also means Italy in Latin. And sometimes when I say Italia, or I even say Italy, and I translate it when I'm talking about ancient Rome, I do get pedants in the comments telling me Italy wasn't a thing because only after Garibaldi you get the unification of Italy. Italy didn't exist in ancient Rome. And I'm like, no, the term is, we found hundreds of cases, particularly in administrative sources in Latin, that refer to the peninsula as Italia. And what's interesting, so it's not historically incorrect to say Italy. Look, the Roman legions moving through Italy, and you're like, there was no Italy. Yes, there was. It's just that it was understood as a geographical term. There we go. We're doing a little history today for a change. But that's the reality of it. And in fact, in the early Republic, Italy is, generally speaking, central Italy and the south. Then in the late Republic, the north and the Alpine also becomes Italy. And during the Empire, the islands are Italy. Sardinia, Corsica, Sicily. The Romans say Italia, they mean all of it. Which is interesting, because sometimes there are some people in the north of Italy that kind of look down on insular Italians, like Sicilians, like myself, or Sardinians, which is ridiculous, because Northern Sardinian, specifically the dialects in the north, are the most linguistically conservative when it comes to pronunciations in connection to classical Latin. Whatever. That's the closest language to Latin. Not Italian, not Romanian, not French, Spanish. Northern Sardinian, if we're going to go technical. That's the closest language today to classical Latin in pronunciation. But regardless, they tell us, oh, you're Sicilian, you're not really Italians. No, we've been Italians since the Roman Empire, you muppet. How about that? Thank you, my rant is over. Let's have a drink. Let's have a drink. Someone tried to be pedantic with the master. I'm no master. But let me tell you this much. I appreciate pedantry when you are right. But pedantry needs to be right. Because if you're being pedantic and you're wrong, then it's arrogance. It's not real pedantry. I love real pedantry, but it has to be real, you know? That's how it is. It's like saying this iron arrowhead, and you tell me, technically it's steel because already added, yeah, that's right, that's correct. If you're right, you're right. I love that kind of pedantry. With the actually, okay, I love it, you hate it, who cares? But if you tell me the arrowhead, actually it's gold, but it's not, then you're a clown. Welcome, bro. Welcome to everyone. Christopher Nolan.